Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, outsiders and in-betweeners. My name is Cameron Harris, and I am running for mayor of Chicago in the 2027 election cycle. Tonight, we will be having hamburger helper beef stroganoff, asparagus, and a biscuit. I believe that suffering is pointless, and if you know me, you would understand. One time, I was walking by the lakefront and I decided to cut through that underground like walkway, that like lower Wacker section. I'm not exactly sure what that street is called, but and I think about this all the time because of like this is probably the funniest thing that's casually happened to me before. And and there were these three girls in front of me. Like they had gone into that tunnel section before me, and I knew that they were lost the second they went in there because they were not dressed for walking a long distance, let alone to be walking like underneath lower Wacker on that pedestrian side. They were wearing like high heels, the short dresses, and had their hair done. There were three of them, and it was pretty obvious to me that they were going like to a club or like a dance party or like some sort of social event. And they're in front of me, and I can see them looking at their phones, starting to get slightly more anxious. And I was like, yeah, I can definitely 100% absolutely tell that you are lost. And I'm laughing to myself. And we're walking a little bit further. They're looking around because it's that really long tunnel. There's only the way in from the lakefront and the way out where all the cars are coming towards you. And they're walking, they're looking forward, they're looking back at me. And I'll never forget it because this is so funny to me. That's when all three of them stop dead in the middle of the pedestrian walkway and they start pantomiming to fix one of the girls' hair. And that was when I knew 100% without a shadow of a doubt, it wasn't even me, it was you guys. You were absolutely lost. And so I walk past them, I excuse myself, and I am aware that they're like lost. And so I start walking slower because I know that now they're following me, actually. And so I take that metal stairway, that really decrepit, like old stairway that needs to be replaced. It is safe to be on, but it looks unsafe and it feels unsafe. It's rusty, it's creaky, it's old. It represents that thin film of decay that exists literally underneath Chicago. Like when you skim past all the nice skyscrapers and like the lake, not the lake, I'm sorry, the river walk? I don't know what they officially call that thing. But when you look past that, you can see all of like the decay and garbage and leaking infrastructure and like all the sinkholes that open up everywhere. And that's represented literally by the fact that you can go underneath the surface of the city and see it falling apart and crumbling before your eyes. But I start taking my time. I start walking slower because I know that they're following me and they don't know where they're going. So the whole time I'm walking slowly up the staircase, making sure that they can see me. And when I get to the surface, I exit out and then it's not a bank. I don't remember what this big office building is, but I sit on the steps of it and I just start waiting for them because I know that all three of them are going to come out eventually. And lo and behold, a few seconds later, all three of them come out one after another. And I make eye contact with each of them before I get up and I continue walking. Another time, I was taking the Metro out to Harvard, the city, way out west, like around Rockford. And it's like 6 o'clock at night. It's like 30 degrees outside, and there's a girl standing all by herself under like the train terminal, and she's got nothing on except like a baby blanket. She's got like, I don't even remember, she's got like jean somethings on, and she's wearing like a tank top. And I'm cold looking at her, and clearly someone else's like mama or something was cold because again, she's got a baby blanket over her shoulders. And so I come off the train. I've got my suitcase behind me, and I'm like, "Girl, I was like, please take my hat. I was like, why are you standing here? And she's like, oh no, I'm fine. You know, my Uber's coming. And I'm like, girl, like, like it's 30 degrees out here. Like I can see you shaking. I'm like, girl, take the hat, please. Like I can't even describe to you the amount of like casually lost people I find throughout the day. Like all of the people who just approach me and they literally said, you look like you know where you're going. And sometimes you're right, thankfully. And they're like, do you know how to get to Navy Pier from here? Do you know how to get to the train from here? And they'll have a backpack on and their suitcase. And to be lost is to suffer. And so when I think about and so when I casually think about like all the other suffering of the world, you know, they talk about how well, I'd rather talk about how like the Taliban children have like horrible dental care. Like when you watch those YouTube videos of people like now that you're allowed entry into Afghanistan, there are people doing what I call suffering pornography, where it is tourists who come and just pan the camera through Afghanistan and they're like, wow, look how awful it is. It's so bad here, I couldn't even stay 24 hours. Situations like that, I refer to as suffering pornography because you are just a tourist there to observe people like suffering. And that's abysmal. It's abominable. It's an awful mentality. And so, oh, you guys get to see the garbage can. That's so embarrassing. Most of the time I try to like, that's the only part of the show that's really scripted is I try to put the garbage can off camera because like this is a talk show where I cook. You're not meant to see the garbage. That's distasteful. And so the Taliban children have no teeth. Iran is running out of water. Jakarta is sinking, and the people of Jakarta are eating recooked food scraps. The Philippines are actively sinking. And so I will fix this because it has to be done. People are suffering, and so I will do it for you.